I'd like to call the meeting of the Finance
They're
Committee
already standing up.
on September 25th. I love how everybody just jumps up. So please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's nice to have such an eager group.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. I know that. Yeah, exactly.
You haven't been here for 2 weeks, you know? Now you're enthusiastic, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take the agenda just slightly out of order, just because I know some folks may have to leave a little early, so I want to make sure that we have a chance to approve the minutes. So there's 2 sets of minutes. We'll start with September 4th. Will somebody make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'm gonna have to abstain from that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So everybody in favor except for Bill Bowles, who abstained. All right. Second set of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve September 18th.
Thank you, Terry.
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Carrie. I have to abstain. Everyone else who's in
I have to
favor?
abstain as well.
I'll abstain as well.
So Terry, Carrie, and John, you may vote.
And Nate.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Nate, sorry.
Yeah, poor Nate, you're leaving Nate out.
It's the name tag. I told him.
Oh, we need a name
Without the
tag.
name tag, it was going to be a problem. Okay, so
was
minutes out of
easy.
the way. So Gary, we're back to the warrant review.
So, Madam Chair, tonight we have the warrant. As last week, we went over some of the articles, but there weren't enough members here to make any votes, so the suggestion was to wait until we had more of membership here to do that tonight. So we can start with Article 1, if you'd like, and Buddy Baker Smith is here to introduce the article to the group.
So, Mr. Baker Smith, please join us and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Buddy Baker Smith, the Chair of the Community Preservation Committee. We have one warrant article to present to town meeting, and that is a project article for the Aiken House, which would come under our historic preservation category in terms of its eligibility. And the amount that we are recommending, which was requested in the application, is $22,800. And this would come from our historic preservation reserve.
Does anyone have any questions for Buddy?
I have a question.
Yes, Bill.
Of course, I wasn't here last week. Was this discussed at all about the merits of this project and what has the project entailed? What does the project actually entail?
Great. The project is described as the water and moisture mitigation project. So the cellar in the house is been identified as a source of high humidity moisture. And so there have been attempts in the past to mitigate that problem. And the advice here is to install a system that will, one, kind of better mediate the humidity level in the building, and also prevent some moisture, do some the interior of the stone foundation to put on that kind of sealing kind of coat to try to limit the amount of moisture that kind of coming through the foundation. And the humidity control is a huge issue in terms of the interior of the building and the preservation of the materials. And so that's a critical issue for the project.
So how is the 22,800 arrived at, Buddy?
It's an estimate from the DHPT had a consultant actually consulted a number of different authorities, and then this is an estimate from a company.
Do we know that they won't go over it?
Do not know that. I would imagine with a project like that, there's always unforeseen conditions, so could be surprised by that. The DHPT has some funds available just for a contingency, not a catastrophic contingency, but a small contingency.
It's good to know. I just want to, make a positive statement that I think it's important that we invest in sites like this in Dartmouth because those are pieces of our history.
Right.
I know there are those that think that that's a waste of money somehow, but it's a historic part of Dartmouth, and frankly, $22,800 is not such a significant sum. It's important that we preserve that home. Terry?
And I will add to what you're saying, Janine, that I wanted to thank you and the leadership of your team, because when I look at some other towns and what they spend their money on, it's not the 3 areas like it is here. Every year, we hear something from either housing or community or historical, and it's nice to see that it's being kind of spread out that way.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions for Buddy?
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. The one plug I'll put in is every year we do an annual kind of plan, and we will be sending the Finance Committee a document and just asking for any suggestions or comments. And basically what we do is we share our current annual plan, which kind of lays out goals and strategies and some priorities for CPA funds. And if you all are quite busy, so, but if you had the time to look at that and just offer any feedback on that, in our November meeting, we'll take up any comment and also have a public hearing at our meeting for any comments on our plan. And then in December, we'll adopt a plan that will be put on our website for the next couple of application rounds. But thank you. If you can, we always appreciate your input. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
you,
for
Buddy.
sharing that with us. Thank you. Does somebody want to make a motion to recommend Article 1?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion on Article 1? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous.
So, Jeanine, for the rationales, we're going to do that at a later time. That's going to be put together.
I have a question about the rationales. Carrie and/or Terry, because I've heard her
Yeah, I
comment.
took a few notes, but I'll get them to you afterwards from the
Yeah,
meeting last
I
week.
actually don't have a copy of this, Gary.
Well, I think he just sent it.
Oh, did you just send it?
I can send it to you electronic, I send it to Jeanine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have
make
a
sure
hard
she
copy.
gets
There's a
the
hard
Word
copy.
doc.
yeah.
Did you want it in Word or?
I think
Word.
you want it
Word.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of cut and pasting. I'm happy to help with the template.
Okay, thanks.
Let me know. Template, so many years. Actually, I'll send you the template that we used probably last fall.
I think I might still have it too.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to go
Yeah, and when
look.
we're done here, I'll send it out to the
Okay.
group electronically.
Yeah. Article 2, Gary?
So this is the appropriation to the stabilization fund. It's looking to put $250,000 into the stabilization fund. This is the general stabilization fund that we have. Currently, there's a little bit over $13 million in that account. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we make contributions to that. We don't do as much as we used to in the past. We've ratcheted that down substantially. And any contribution to this helps us out with our rating when we go out for long-term borrowing. As you know, we are a AAA community, so we want to make an effort to put at least something into this account every year. And that's what this article does.
I know there was a lot of discussion at the last meeting about this, but first of all, can somebody make a motion so we can discuss and vote?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll
anyone?
second it.
Seconded by John Souza.
No, wait,
Bill Bowles.
We're close, Jimmy. It was close.
It was Bill.
Okay, sorry.
That's all
a problem tonight.
No, it's all good.
Does anybody have any questions? I know there was a discussion last week about it, so I don't know if others have questions.
Just a comment, I had asked for the trend, and Gary had sent it to me. I just want to share it with the board. What have we been contributing in the past?
Okay, good.
And in FY '25, it was 500,000, '24 was 800,000, '23 is 2.25 million, and in '23 rather, '22 was 1.15 million, and in '21 it was $0. So as of late, the last 2 years, the trend has been a downward, 4 years. If we add this one.
Increases aligns with the change on financial policy, when we increased from 7.5% to 10%. So that's why we have those two initial kind of large deposits.
No, I understand the rationale. I'm supporting. I just wanted to present some facts that I had to the rest of the
And it could be,
committee. I'm not saying we increased the amount.
Yeah, there could be a time in the future where we look to adjust that maybe higher, as we see budgets that grow. We want to keep in line with what the committee feels and the town feels is appropriate to keep in this account. Luckily, it's been a long time since the town ever had to go to that account, and it's really a savings account for the worst-case scenario.
I don't know what the story was in '21, and prior to that, in '21, it was $0.
I think it was COVID.
It could,
It's COVID.
I think Terry's right. I think at that time, there was a lot of uncertainty on what revenues were coming in because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I think the policy was, or the philosophy was back then, let's keep as much revenue as we can floating in the budget rather than putting it aside for the
Going forward, I'm going to, I believe in the stabilization fund, and I think we should be funding it every year with a decent amount. It's always good to have some monies in reserve somewhere.
Yep, I second that, and also, I watched the meeting from last week, and you were saying how I believe it was the Water Enterprise Fund that we hadn't maybe contributed to it, and if we had kind of chipped away over time, we wouldn't see a larger increase like we did this past year. So I think all these funds to just kind of fund it slowly over time, and that way if we do have an expense like the purchase of water from from New Bedford, things like that, you can kind of get ahead of and not have the big expense all in one time period.
we'd have the capacity at that time to make a decision where we could go to that account.
Yep.
But not funding it and going 3-4 years without funding it is not a good strategy.
Especially on, in my opinion, lean years. When we start getting into lean years, you have a tendency to back off. And lean years is when it can hurt you the most, when you need to tap that fund and all of a sudden it's depleted, and because you weren't replenishing it or you didn't replenish it enough, and when times were really good. But anyway, I hope we can every year stash some money away into this account.
Agree, thanks.
I do have a question, and I agree with everything everyone's saying with the wisdom of putting money into the stabilization account. What is the, call it average, that communities put into a stabilization account? So we were at 7.5% at one point, we raised it to 10%. We're currently standing at about 13%, just shy of 13%, which is great, right? It's healthy. It's good to have that, but it would be outrageous if we went up to 100%, right? Like, what is the number between 7.5% and 100% that is like the normal for a community to thrive under?
So having been involved in a couple of the communities and on a finance committee in Westport, some communities don't have the ability to put anything into these accounts. So as you know, we fund this account with free cash, and we've been lucky over the last few years to certify large amounts of free cash, and that's pretty much the funding source. There are communities that put $0 into these accounts every single year, and it's like, I think, to John's point, you're gonna put money into budgets. This is the last item that you're gonna put money into. We have the luxury to have budgets that sustainable, and then on top of that, put money into the stabilization fund, and that keeps us a AAA community. That's really what the rating agencies look at, that you're able to fund budgets at a rate, at an X amount, and on top of that, put money into the stabilization account. So I guess the answer is, there is no metric to look at other communities and say, well, you know, why does this community do that and this one doesn't?
I don't wanna compare ourselves against other communities, I'm just saying, is there like a rule of thumb that says, you know, you have a healthy stabilization account when your stabilization account is this amount of, as a ratio to your budget?
Not necessarily,
There's no
not necessarily,
rule of thumb?
no, we have a healthy stabilization account now because our policies dictate that we put X amount of dollars away. So that's really why Dartmouth, and not comparing it to other communities, is considered financially stable and a good stabilization fund. But there is nothing that says, you know, the DOR comes out and says, well, you need to do this, you need to do that.
I'm not saying we must do it, I'm saying like, what is, why at one point were we at 7.5% and now we're at 10%, but we're hovering at 13%? Should we go to 20%? Like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Is there a rule of thumb that is?
One thing I
There's
would
really no-
just
there's really
to
no-
add, I wonder what the rating agencies.
That's what I was gonna ask,
For example, to keep the rating that we have, is that, do
Well,
they say?
they compare us to, they do two things. They compare it to the budget, they compare it to our revenues. So if they see our revenues are X amount, and we have financial policies that say you should be funding it at X amount, then that's what the comparative is. So it's really what we're doing internally, and can we meet those expectations? You know, and then that's what really sets the rating for Dartmouth, not comparing it to any other community.
Well, it's also on credit rating too.
Well, that's a AAA rating, yeah, that's the rating from
credit.
S&P and Moody's.
But to Nate's point, the bond rating and credit rating were excellent, but at what point does it become, if we contribute 20, doesn't matter to them anymore? It's like, hey, you're not getting any more
You can only
brownie
get
points
AAA, you can't
because
get
you
any
got
more, right.
25%.
To an
Is there,
extent, we're there, right? To
Yeah.
an extent, we're there. If you look at, we're probably in the top 20% in the state, as far as financial, health, you know, when you look at some of these things. And that's why we're only recommending 250,000 this year. If we felt like we needed to continue to increase that to a 15 or a 20%, given we have record free cash, this would be a good year to say we should put $1 million in, we should put $2 million in. But that's why we're really saying 250, just to show we're still making an effort. But where we are right now, I don't think, and Gary and I have had some brief discussions on this, we're not in a spot where we should need to say, we need to change our financial policy this year and go to 15%. We feel pretty comfortable as far as the credit, right, we're getting from the bond rating agencies and the credit rating agencies.
Yeah.
So what you're really
If
saying
I'm-
is there's really no governance, it's kind of an arbitrary.
It is.
Right, if the budgets grew at 8-10% a year, then we'd have to look at what that contribution is
Right.
every single year. But because our budgets typically are 3 to 3.5% a year, what we're doing now is sustainable for the rating agencies. If that number seems to grow, then we may have to rejigger the financial policies of the town.
Budget grew 8%, that'd be the revenue.
You have to generate the revenues to support it, though.
Increased 8%, that would be fantastic.
It's optimistic. Any more
Thank you.
questions?
No,
Sorry.
I'm good.
Are we ready to vote?
motion to recommend Article 2?
I'll second it.
I think we did that already. That's okay. All in favor of Article 2?
Aye.
Vote is unanimous. Article 3.
So as the committee knows, in Article 3, the town is going through a reclass comp study, which includes job descriptions. We've worked on this for quite some time. What this does is fund the account that allows us to put money aside for that study, the results of that study, potentially the results of that study, which could go over multiple years, as we spoke about at last meeting. Currently, there's about $399,000 in that account, so this would complement that going forward.
Somebody want to make a motion to recommend and discuss Article 3?
I will make a motion to recommend.
Terry, second
I'll second.
by Patrick. Questions? Okay, are we ready to vote? All in favor of Article 3?
Aye.
Unanimous? Thank you. Article 4,
So Article 4, as the committee knows, I believe it's now 2 town meetings ago, we set up the Long-Term Capital Stabilization Fund, which was geared towards or designed to address long-term capital items, potentially for schools, for any items that we're looking at, you know, as long-term projects. We have the Long-Term Capital Committee that meets. We took out this was $1 million contribution at the beginning. We took out $500,000 last year for the schools, for the fire system that was redone. And this is to put the money back in that account, which would bring it back up to $1 million for long-term capital projects into the future.
Somebody want to make a motion to recommend and discuss Article 4?
I'll make a motion.
Terry made the motion, seconded by,
Well, Bill?
Bill.
Second.
sorry, your voice. I knew it wasn't
I'll have
Carrie.
to stand in front of you from now on.
Okay, please.
Okay.
Are there any questions on Article 4?
I can give a long-term committee report later on at the end when we get to that point.
Okay, good.
Good.
Are we ready to vote on Article 4? All in favor of the article?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed, so unanimous, 7. Article 5.
So Article 5 is to address the Water Enterprise Fund and the reduction in retained earnings. We talked about this a little bit last week, how in the past, there were situations in years past where we had 0 rate increases, didn't really build reserve up to an extent where we could say that we have a healthy reserve in the Water Enterprise Fund. It also, the biggest contribution of this is, as you know, the water that we purchased from New Bedford. That kind of took a big hit over the last couple of years to drain down those accounts, drain down this account. So what this does is moves money from their retained earnings to supplement the budget. So for us to get through the fiscal year. This is not a typical article. You haven't probably seen this on the warrant. Because it's an enterprise fund, they're self-sustained. They are set by the rates. So going forward, both Cody and I are going to be looking at this a lot more closely over the course of this year, calendar year, and make sure that there are no issues month to month on their retained earnings, on their expense to revenue ratio.
Somebody want to make a motion to recommend and discuss Article 5?
I'll make a motion.
Patrick made the motion,
Second.
second by Nate. So I have a question. I have to admit the discussion in last week's meeting was a little disturbing to hear it. So you finalized the number, because I think the note said 140,000, so it's actually 102. The notes from the minutes,
102,823.
Yeah, that's what DOR told us, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the 140 may have been
The
the
balance.
balance.
It
That's
did
the
say,
balance of the
it did
account.
say approximate.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
The
just-
balance is 140,000 as a balance for the retained earnings.
Oh, okay.
Approximately, yeah.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on this?
Which again, typically the retained earnings is what they use for capital items, you know, in their budget. That's what we use for, on our side, we use on the enterprise fund side too.
So our current balance in retained earnings is about 140,000. We're gonna transfer 102,000. That'll leave us with about 40,000.
I think we have 240 right
No, we have
now.
we have 240.
We'll have about 140
140 left.
after this
Okay.
transfer.
Yeah,
After that.
102
Got
is
it.
transferred.
Right. That's accurate.
Correct, yes.
Any other questions? Nate?
No. I think this is the right thing to do. We ought to recommend to town meeting that we do that. I don't know, maybe it's in the rationale where we state sort of the concern with it, or if that's even what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, it sounds like we've got a handle, or we're closely monitoring it, but I don't know if it's probably worth highlighting to town meeting that, hey, there's a real issue here, that hopefully we can manage our way out of it, but it may result in a requirement for a rate increase if we can't, if we must continue purchasing, unspecified amounts of water from New Bedford, which is exceeding our ability to pay for that water. It's probably worth giving people a heads up that there's potential there. I mean,
No, I agree.
we're down to nothing in the retained earnings, right? Next step is, if we can't control expenses,
Yep.
we gotta fix revenue.
No,
What was the amount that we, amount of money that we purchased from the Bedford, amount of,
It's been close to $1 million for the,
Way more
last
than
couple of
that.
years, right?
I think it was close to 4, close to.
oh, no, well, the last year?
Last year, how much we spent just on New Bedford Water?
Yeah.
Was in the 3 million range.
3
It
million.
was 3 million?
the
Because
3
prior to
million.
that, it was 1 million, so it's gone up to
So-
3?
So
Yeah,
to-
prior to that was like,
we purchased approximately 50% of our water from the city of New Bedford last year. So 50% of all of the town of Dartmouth's water was purchased from the city of New Bedford last
But I
year.
thought a lot of that was being alleviated by the, actually, the reproduction of the aquifers.
Well, our wells, we have some wells
Yeah.
that are down right now.
I thought they were back up in, they were becoming back up in
They're
service.
Very
going to be-
sad story, Bill.
Yeah.
It's a very sad
still
story.
issues,
They were
unfortunately.
hit by, the
Lightning
new one was
twice.
hit by lightning once, and then it was replaced, and it was hit by lightning again.
And who said lightning doesn't strike twice?
Same thing last week.
strikes there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we always purchased water from New
We have,
Bedford?
so we've historically run.
I know it's changed,
Just
but
got
We've
worse.
we
historically
always
run
have.
in that, 20 to 30% average,
And I understand, it's much
recent
higher.
years.
That water's
So yeah,
much higher.
50% is about double, if not a little more than what we have been purchasing.
Wow. That's a lot.
I think it makes sense, though, to include it somehow. I know we're not gonna do a
Yeah.
cover letter, but maybe somehow.
write it in the
We can
rationale.
write something, because normally, and Nate, I know you've read our rationales, normally it has to do with opposing views.
yeah, at least I would suggest at least the reasoning.
Yes.
For town meeting members to understand why we're doing this. Those are the main reasons, as Cody spoke about. But, lightning strikes and the purchase of it, now even more water than before. Additionally, it was about $1,900,000 a few years back, but that's the unfortunate circumstances.
No, and there was a mention made at the last meeting as well, that people need to be made aware
Yes.
For the next.
of these changes that could be coming. And I have to
And-
admit, it
And maybe
was,
coming again, so I
Of
think
course they're
giving them a
coming again.
heads up is a good
Gotta be
idea,
very-
that was a good
yeah.
idea.
It was
Can I just talk about
disturbing to
this?
hear, and I don't remember the years, but there were multiple years where we didn't raise the rates at all. Okay, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but sometimes you should be able to anticipate, even if it was a minor rate increase, because it's not going to go down. Sorry to be the word of gloom.
That's why I was glad
No,
to
it's
hear
true.
that Cody and Gary are gonna be monitoring a little bit more closely than they had in the
We're
past.
gonna have to.
But yeah, we should.
Two to $3 million.
whatever, we'll- Carrie, you can write something up and we can all tear into it.
Sounds good to me.
Are we ready to vote on Article 5?
Yeah.
All in favor of Article 5?
I,
Aye.
No opposed? Unanimous, 7-0-0.
0.
Article 6,
So Article 6, Madam Chair, is along the same lines. This is for the solid waste trash, not to the extent of the Water Enterprise Fund, but $4,306.
We don't have concerns about their, operating revenues. If you look at the surplus or retained earnings, do you have that sheet up?
Yeah,
there
there's
still?
plenty.
We have, I think, close to $1 million.
It was about $1 million, yeah.
somebody want to make a motion to recommend and discuss Article 6?
I make the motion.
Bill?
I'll second.
Carrie seconds.
Second.
Questions? No more discussion? Discussed it enough last week?
Yeah.
I listened. All in favor of Article 6?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, no opposed. Article 7.
So, Madam Chair, Article 7 is the CIPC, the Capital Planning Committee's report. First of all, I'd just like to thank the committee, those members that are on the CIPC, for the work that they do every single year. They meet with the departments, schools, DPW. This year was also Parks and Rec, DCTV, and they vet the projects that are presented to them from the departments and prioritize those with the funds that are available to spend on these particular line items. And again, most of this is coming from, on the general fund side, is coming from free cash.
Okay.
So these items that you see here are what the committee is recommending.
Somebody want to make a motion to discuss and recommend Article 7?
I'll make a motion.
Terry made the motion.
I'll second.
Patrick, second. Terry, did you want to talk about this in more detail?
No, I mean, I think we heard a lot of information from the people who presented and asked a lot of questions, questions to the police department about why they needed the cars they needed, and considered a much bigger ask from the schools, but at the same time, were able to provide a much bigger ask than they have been able to get for the last few years, so. And I think Mr. Kiley said that they had something to work with. They could get going with that. So it was a good meeting overall. You know, then they started talking about drones, and it all went downhill at that point.
Drums,
I don't see drones on here.
technical hardware, yeah.
Did I miss something, Gary? The playground,
No,
Okay.
well, we can go through the list if you'd like. Again, touch a little bit on these security upgrades, these, you know, at the schools, they're using alarm systems and so on and so forth. A lot of these are projects that are still, are ongoing, flooring replacement. You'll see that he asked for that in a couple of years. Technology and hardware, he asked for, and playground improvements. The 100,000 would complete some of the projects that he's working on now.
What is ACBM?
that's-
Asbestos,
yeah.
That's about,
I
yeah.
was gonna talk about, because
Containing
Jim
building
was saying that
material.
we're probably gonna see this, it's not gonna be a project that's gonna start and end. The schools were built in the 50s and 60s, no problem then using asbestos tiles. As long as they stay glued down and they're fine, and don't move, they're fine, but when they start to pop up, then it becomes concerning, and they have to go through a process to remove those tiles. So it's hard to know when it will happen, but when it
Sure.
happens, they have to do it right away.
I'm surprised we haven't done it already, to some degree.
They have.
Oh, they've been
Yeah,
ongoing?
every year,
yeah, it's
yep.
ongoing. They do
Okay.
a portion of the school when they can,
Okay.
on an ongoing basis. So the police department, full marked cruises, as the committee knows, over the last year, we have not, the last round, we did not offer police cruises to the police department. This complements that, so they can get full marked cruises, hybrids.
Quick question, those
Yes.
are replacement cruisers? or-
Replacements, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, some of the other vehicles are noted as replacement, we might want to just add that. Replacement.
Yeah, that would be a dash replacement. And then 80 firearms. So what this is a different type of firearm that they're using. Has a lens on it, a scope, not a scope, it's got a lens that helps the officer in case they're in a situation where they have to use that firearm, better accuracy, and so they're replacing the entire inventory of firearms.
We did ask why they couldn't make do with the guns that they had.
Why am I not surprised by that?
And, well, they did explain that the state police, the towns surrounding us have the newer guns, and it's a matter of confidence, I think, so.
Unfortunately, everything has to be replaced at some point, whether we like it or don't like it. Yeah.
He did say that one consolation is the new ammunition will be cheaper than the old ammunition.
Okay, good.
Gary, I do have a question.
Yes.
Refresh my memory, the spring meeting, we discussed replacing cruisers and, I don't know about firearms, but this is in addition of,
So what we did at that meeting was we replaced vaults for the cruisers, not the cruisers. They had vaults
yeah, that's
to hold the
right.
firearms in, and then we also replaced tasers, the tasers that they carry.
That's
So it
right.
was not, these are the actual firearms.
Yeah.
okay.
That's what we
All right,
did.
so this is different then, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood, okay.
And normally, there's cruisers on it every year.
Yeah, and we didn't, in the fall town meeting, we were certified with 6 point whatever million in free cash. We didn't do anything then, and so we pretty much waited a whole year before we could compliment him with cruisers again, so. And we make sure, as Nate said, that these are replacements, the vehicles that he's trading them in, and we're putting older vehicles out of service and putting these new vehicles in service.
Understood.
So, I'm gonna ask the same question that I always ask. Will any of these capital purchases result in future operational cost increases?
No, not based on these. Actually, the new firearms will result in a decrease in operational costs. The bullets, the ammunition is, what, 30% cheaper, I believe is what, approximately, don't hold me to 30%, but right around there, cheaper. So it saved us a few $1,000s a year in operating
Yeah.
costs.
Did they
I think-
say why?
No, just the
Different type of caliber
ammunition,
gun.
yeah, just different ammunition.
Okay.
And I think,
Curious why something actually went down in prices.
Yeah, just a different ammunition that ends up being a little bit cheaper.
and anytime we're replacing a vehicle, the operational cost is essentially the same, right? Your insurance, your maintenance, it's just,
Yeah.
Well, we think with the hybrids, would maybe save a little bit more with the hybrids. The chief is trying to put new hybrids on, where they're not just, he talked about idle time, and he talked about, being strictly gas. It's a little bit more money to have a strictly gas vehicle out there, where the hybrid could save a little bit of money on idle time.
Well, should be less
It almost-
should be less maintenance too with a newer car.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a reduction in operational costs.
2 of these are actually replacing cruisers that have been totaled, so we're actually just down those cruisers right now. So even with these and replacing 2 of the older cruisers that are close to 150,000 miles, over
One of
10
them
years
was a
old.
deer, and the other one was an accident.
accident, yeah.
Cars were totaled.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we get, the payment from the insurance company, it's just nothing close to be able to even purchase a new cruiser.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean my question to be specific to the police request. It was for the whole capital request.
I would say that through like the schools, technology and hardware, that's, if he's purchasing, whatever he's purchasing, it could be replacing Chromebooks. Eventually, those have a useful life, so they have to continue to be replaced.
Yeah, they need replacing.
So, I don't know what year the COVID, I don't know with the Chromebooks now, but probably circa COVID at that point in time.
Yeah,
I know that they had some issues with the Chromebooks, and they try to maintain them as best they can.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing exactly, but I can say that my daughter's had the same Chromebook since she was in middle school, and she's a senior in high school, so 4, 5, 6, probably 6 or 7 years at this point. That's a pretty old Chromebook to be, it's like she's constantly bringing it to
Yeah, repair,
be repaired, she has to get a loaner, so that, it has to happen. So-
To answer your question, Nate, no, we do not see anything on here that would substantially increase operating costs. I mean, are there some things that will result in fluctuation? Of course, a new vehicle, the insurance is gonna cost a little bit more than, right, an older vehicle would be. So are there small increases like that? Yes. But something that would result in a true operational cost increase, I don't see anything on here that would, and I don't think that was identified during the capital process, if there was anything that would result in an increase.
Yeah, and maintenance is, normal maintenance of the vehicles is where they have a car on the road now or a car on the road 2 years from now.
Probably less, less
Yeah, right,
maintenance of a
they're
newer
more
vehicle.
efficient.
Do we know, like, when we talked about the playground improvements, which playground, was it Quinn? Which playground was getting improved, do we remember?
Quinn.
It was
Yeah.
Quinn, right? Okay. Do you remember what they're doing? Just, I could write it in the comments.
It's the rubber, I believe they're doing something with the rubber mat.
They're replacing the engineered wood, with.
Oh, the wood
with a-
chips.
Yeah, with a solid, base, which is what's being recommended now. I don't know if they're gonna be
So-
able to replace any of the equipment really. He mentioned maybe one piece of equipment.
Yeah,
but
that's so
mainly it was the-
expensive.
Yeah, everything,
Yeah,
the
mainly
swings and
it's the
slides are
floor.
very expensive.
Yeah, they are really expensive.
So
I've looked
comment,
into it when I was
a
on
question that
PTO.
stuck out on me on that Parks and Recs, that's one playground resurfacing is $422,000?
It's primarily the resurfacing, and then when they do the resurfacing, they are gonna replace a couple of the plastic pieces of equipment, so we can extend the life of the full playground about 15 years. But it's primarily, the surfacing, which is the surface that's already there.
It just sounds like a phenomenal
Astronomical.
figure for
Right.
It is,
playground
Yeah,
resurfacing.
it is.
And then another, because I'm asking these because I know someone at town meeting is going to get up and ask the same question in the same area, Parks and Recs. Round Hill Beach automatic gate, small money, $14,220. I look at capital improvements typically as a need, not a want. In my opinion, and I'm asking the question, an automatic gate sounds like a what? Is that
So-
really a
this is
need to
there-
have an automatic
This is
gate?
there because if,
Yeah.
first of all, they've had trouble with, I guess, kids, maybe not, maybe adults, going there at night, trashing the place. And when they have to send somebody from the Parks and Rec to go close the gate or talk to them about it, it's 4 hours minimum overtime. And this would allow somebody from a distance with an app on it to be able to close the gate and lock it.
Yeah, and then they're not getting to the back, because I went to the parks, and I can, this is in my update later, but they're not replacing the gate, they're adding something to the existing gate. So they're adding the
No, I get,
automatic
and
opener. Yeah.
again, I'm just questioning, is this
So
a
nobody
need
will
or
get-
want? And I understand that scenario, but now, maybe I'm.
So nobody will get
somebody-
locked in anymore. So it'll lock so nobody can go in, but if you're in, it'll open so you can leave.
Okay, that was my question. How do you prevent somebody from,
Exactly.
if nobody's physically going there,
Right.
how can I get out?
Right, and so she can do a
So if people
lot
begin to
remote.
recognize that, so
Yeah.
are they gonna stay longer now? They know there's no curfew. Is that gonna create problems if people realize, oh, it's an automatic gate,
No,
so
I
I'm not
think
gonna leave
somebody
at 7
will-
o'clock. I'm gonna stay
It's
here
hard
till
to
10
know,
o'clock.
but
question.
I think those
Uh-huh.
people are
we can
probably
prove it.
responsible. It's gonna stop the people that are going in, and hopefully.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
again, I'm posing that question because, I understand the rationale, but is that gonna backfire? What did we accomplish? Now,
Yeah.
Fox may be saving some money, but
They're
now we've
also
gotta send
considering
police
it
out to
too.
deal with an issue because, those neighbors across the creek, they'll be calling and saying, hey, there's people here at 9, 10 o'clock at night
Right.
and creating an issue for, save money here, we're spending it over here. I don't know, I'm just,
They're also gonna
No,
put a
it's good-
camera
good
in, John.
discussion.
They're looking at the cost of a camera, because that did come up.
Yeah.
How would we know who it was, so.
Can I make a comment that as we go through this line by line, we hold our questions till we get to that point?
oh, I didn't know we were doing it line by line.
So
I'm
we're
sorry.
in order, otherwise we're randomly jumping around.
Okay.
I'm messing with Janine's,
But thank you.
Somebody brought up Parks and I was just thought we were already there.
Just trying to keep it in.
Madam Chair, Cody has to leave a little bit.
Oh,
before the
okay.
meeting. Do you want to take the charter,
Want
items?
to skip ahead to the charter items now, because Cody
It's
has
your
comments?
preference. I have the ZBA meeting, so I have to scoot
No, no,
over
I
there.
understand.
Yeah.
That's fine, we can
Capital.
come back to Article
This is gonna
7.
be
Yeah,
way
we'll go
more
back to
fun. This is gonna be way
It
more
will be, you're right. I'd much rather be here.
Oh, tonight's the
So are
big
we at Article 9? Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll do we can go back to capital and then Article 8.
Yeah, we'll put that on hold
Article
temporarily.
9, Cody can maybe wrap these up
And
in
we
one.
will go
what I
to
wanted to
Article
talk about.
9.
So all of these, there's Article 9, 10, 11,
12.
and 12 are really all related to something that the Select Board has discussed, which is an idea of these 3-member boards and committees, expanding them to 5. However, I will state that I do not anticipate that all of these will actually be on the warrant. The board is approving the warrant Monday, and I anticipate that a couple of these will come off. That it's been a mission that the board wants to seek the opinions of those serving on these committees and the professional staff, and so we have done that. We have been, the Board of Health has shared through the health director and at least one member of their board that they would be against this expansion. The Board of Public Works has expressed that they would be for this expansion. The Board of Appeals has basically said that they, have no opinion on this and that they're going to leave it to the Select Board as a group appointed by the Select Board. And the Board of Assessors, they discussed it in their meeting that they are against this. So I can't tell you what the board's going to do, but if I were to guess, I would think that they'll probably likely follow the recommendations of these various groups.
Somebody want to, can we do it one by one at least, or, yeah, we should do it one by one. Somebody want to make a motion to discuss Article 9? Karen made the motion,
I'll second that.
seconded by Bill.
No, that's
Paying
good.
attention.
I'll speak up.
Do we have questions specific? So I do. So, and I heard this from the last meeting as well, because we all know the mistake that was made at the last town meeting with some of the changes, that the boards were not, asked their opinion. So for me, it's difficult, and this is just my opinion, that if a board is against it, I don't feel like I'm in favor of it personally, because I think that they know best how their board operates versus having someone else tell them. So it's difficult for me, it'll be difficult for me to vote on these without really knowing
Agreed.
if the boards themselves did not vote on them and discuss them. It
So-
sounds like
Yes.
maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Some of them did, some of them didn't. We reached out for the feedback. One of your options could be, given that there's a high probability that these will not all appear on the warrant,
Right.
you could provide a recommendation at town meeting.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's just my opinion,
Once there's
everybody.
been a definitive answer of which ones will actually appear on the warrant, which we will know on Monday.
Right.
you could then provide a recommendation.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
yeah, I agree with that procedure. I don't want to discuss articles that
Yeah,
being
right,
sponsored by
right.
the select board that they haven't voted on themselves. Now, you have an opinion that I don't want to vote for something if the particular board, Article 9, the assessors, is opposed to it. But what's the rationale of the selectmen even proposing it? And will they differ from that opinion?
Right,
I'd like
agreed.
to have that knowledge before we try to
Absolutely.
make a decision.
No,
So
that's part of it,
I'd
absolutely.
recommend we postpone any discussion on any of these charter amendments until we have definitive direction on,
Positions, yeah.
are they going to appear in the warrant, and what's the rationale of the select board? Why are they making that change or proposing that change? We haven't heard that yet.
What's the deadline for us voting?
If you want the vote printed in the warrant, it would need to be by Thursday of next week.
Right.
So if not, like I said, my recommendation would be you just printed in the warrant would be finance committee recommendation at town meeting, if you aren't able to provide a recommendation prior to printing in the warrant.
Terry?
They're taking it up on Monday, though? So are we meeting next Thursday?
I don't know, we can talk about, I know there's a question about when we need to meet again. Terry?
I just wonder if we could write that the rationale, as I understand it, is that a three-person board is very difficult. And maybe say that, and then boards were contacted to achieve their feedback. The finance committee supports the decisions that are made by the select board and the boards.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
idea.
we don't really have a stake in it, right?
We
No,
don't.
no, agreed.
We
And-
just have to do this because the charter says we have to do it.
Correct.
It's like one of those things that we think, well, why are we offering? It's not a monetary issue, it's not a purchase or
No,
anything.
I
But, you know,
understand.
the interesting part of this is that we have a hard enough time, the town does, or the community, of having people interested in running for these boards, you know? So now we're going from possibly 3 to 5, and again, there may be empty seats because we can't get people to run. And we had this discussion before,
Yeah.
folks, if I'm not mistaken.
And then that makes your quorum different, right?
Yeah, it does,
As
so
a
this.
town meeting member, I think we need to talk to other people about
Exactly,
why it's
yeah.
helpful for us to be involved in these boards and committees.
So
Really
so
do,
why
but
don't we hold off and see what the select board, use them for guidance, and then we can talk about having another meeting so that it does get printed in the warrant.
Sure.
Just that, because if they're gonna take them off, there's no use,
No,
there's no purpose of
no
us.
purpose in us
discussing
discussing it for half an
right.
hour.
If it's not gonna
Agreed.
exist, yeah.
Agreed.
I'm sure we all have strong opinions. Okay,
The other, only one, I think, for Cody would be the Article 16.
So, well, 13 is another charter amendment. This is just regarding the rules and regulations. So currently, our charter requires a 10-day posting period for any change in rules and regulations. The select board had expressed some concern with that, in just that, 10 days may not be enough to accurately notify people, and also it can be sporadic throughout the year, right? So this is a draft that we put together. The board, again, has not, they asked that I put something together. This is what I put together. I'm not quite sure if this is something that will move forward or not, but the idea is a 90-day posting period in that changes would only be enacted twice a year, effectively, January 1st and July 1st, unless there were some sort of emergent situation, which there could be a public hearing before the select board.
so this still has the potential of not being on the warrant.
Yes, that is true.
How do we feel about putting that with the others, as far as we hold?
Yeah,
I think we should,
definitely.
The select board is gonna, it comes from them, right? It's not that, would a board be against this? Is there a board that would be against this?
I've heard some concerns from professional staff
Yeah.
as far as, the process, and, the only being able to implement for the most part twice a year. There's been some concern with that.
Huh.
so I would say, I think just in terms of our vote, I think it's a good idea to just postpone it. If it actually makes it on the warrant, then we take action
Yeah.
at that point.
Right.
But I would say that, generally speaking, I do like the idea of the amendment, just my personal opinion. I think it's smart for someone, let's say, someone that has a business interest in town that wants to build something, and knowing that we should check the the town documents on this date and on this date to see how those decisions will affect us as we go about this project, I think is smart, and I think it helps us be a little bit more business-friendly than we've somewhat been known to be from time to time. So I think that's a good idea. The thing I would have concern with, though, is like, what is a town agency? Like, what departments would this affect?
Every single one.
So for example, schools, right?
School committee is governed by a separate set because they wouldn't be governed by the select board. The select board wouldn't.
So it
have
would
a
only
public
be
hearing.
town agencies that are subject to the authority of the select board.
Well, no, but the school committee, schools are very different, but this would affect everyone besides schools.
But this
Employees,
would be elected boards as well.
talking about employee department,
So,
paid
yeah, or
employees.
like-
No, this is anything.
Okay.
So if the Conservation Commission wants to change their rules and regs, this, this would apply to them. If the Board of Public Works wants to change their rules and regs, this applies to them.
But those boards are all appointed by the select board. So like,
No,
let's take
no, they're not, no.
the Conservation Commission?
Conservation is, but I'm using those as examples. This would apply to Board of Health. This would apply to library. This would apply to anyone that is not the schools. The town agency is any town department.
So then, with that being the case, I think it would be wise to get feedback from those other elected boards, because the safety net is that you can have a hearing in front of the select board. The select board doesn't have authority over the assessors, right?
No, but they're not approving it, right? This doesn't require that the select board approve it during a public hearing. It just requires that the public hearing be held as a notification purpose.
I'm just trying to anticipate some of these other boards that might be at town meetings saying, hey, no, because we would have to.
If you wanted to do it
Alarm.
outside of, that's only
Yeah.
if it's outside of January 1st or July 1st.
Exactly, and I don't know what the scenarios would be that would require that, but I could just anticipate some concern from other elected boards about having to appear in front of the select board in order to enact something on an emergency basis.
So the idea of it was centralization, right? And like you said, business friendly. So if there were to be an off-cycle change, you're not now looking, well, is it a public hearing before the Board of Public Works? Is it a public hearing before Board of Health? No, we have a strict process that it goes before the select board. They don't need to approve it. So the select board could be against it in its entirety, but if that individual board or committee approves it, that's the regulation. It's a public notification process. And the select board being the chief policymakers for the town, it makes sense to have them, before that group.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I think it's a great idea. Seems like it could use a little more time in the oven to be fully baked, is my gut reaction.
Sure.
Just a comment though on, when people talked earlier about whether, I think you had said a board feels like they know how they're operating. I think that we should be making decisions based on what we think is best for the town, and not necessarily what that particular board. And the reason I say that, I can think of one board that might be a little capricious about changing the rules and then doing it in the middle of
Or
a
at the middle
cycle, and
school,
then
Jay.
people not being aware of it, and then it creating a problem. This is just about notice, so.
I don't disagree with that, Terry. I guess my biggest comment and question about all these charter articles is the Charter Commission group, whatever they call themselves, are they still meeting?
No,
So, and how long did they meet?
a very long time.
2, 3, 4 years?
Yep.
And I'm not picking on anybody, but I don't understand why these are coming up now
Right.
without more notice to everyone that's involved.
Well, the issue of board, the number of people on a board did come up, but people had not checked with boards before they made the recommendation. So
Right.
that's one. But yes, I would imagine this comes from, I don't know if this is true, but I would imagine this comes from somebody complaining that they didn't know that the rule changed and that they had no chance to weigh in on it.
I just feel like it hasn't been given enough time. You just said it, actually, that any of these have not been given enough time.
Not at all.
Certainly, we're not equipped to vote on them. And
No.
the select board is still kicking them around.
I'm going to speak from experience. I hate regulations and bureaucracy and time delays. Although I think this one is a good one because prior to my retirement, I was involved in the engineering and construction related industry. And so I still have a number of friends and people I run into them, and it's been an uptick in the last few years of agencies in town, one in particular is the DPW. I hear from more contractors and engineers and builders that the DPW changes their rules and regulations at a whim. After they've bid on a job, they plan to do the job this way, and the inspector shows up, you gotta do it this way. Oh, we changed that rule last month. You know, no warning, no nothing, cost impacts, very, very unreasonable to these contractors and everybody else, homeowners, and that you gotta adhere to these new rules and regs. So I think it's a good thing to provide at least a 90-day window where you get some more notifications. Hopefully, contractors catch wind of it, people bidding on jobs can see it, that this is going to be an added cost, or even cost savings. If, you know, it's not too often that regulations back down, but this would provide to even a regulation being curtailed.
I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, or that this is a bad, amendment. I just feel like we're not at the point where we should be voting on, the select board should be guiding us on this, and the ones before it, with the appropriate information. This is not it's not financial, and I know we have to vote on them anyway, but I feel like the guidance should have happened before we got this in
I
front
agree.
of us.
I
That's
agree,
all.
so I think,
Whether I like
think
it
we
or
should
not
hold
is
off on it.
irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree, I think we should hold off on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all. I mean, I'm not saying
I agree
I
with that.
dislike it, I'm just saying,
I think we're all saying the same thing, really.
I think we need to hold on this as well.
I would have more information next week after the board.
Right.
I think I want to hear what they say, and then,
This is, the selectmen the last few years has been the only board that's done this to us, where we have a draft warrant
Yeah.
before us, and they haven't voted on their own articles, where every other, we just heard from CPC. They've taken a position, so everybody that comes before us when we're doing this review,
It's really hard for
we
us
already,
to.
they already know where they
It is
stand.
an interesting
The
idea.
last few years, we've been
They should
dealing
be
with this,
moving
it's
their
like, we don't
timeline
even
up.
know where they stand,
Well,
and
our
they're,
practice has always been that the select board wants to know what we think.
I was just going to say, they
by
like to know what we
reviewing
think.
this. But in this case, where they're sponsoring something, we really don't know a lot about it. Right.
I don't
It
like
doesn't make
being,
sense.
if that's their rationale, I don't like being their think tank.
No
You know,
thanks.
they need to make these
It's not-
issues
yeah, it's not that.
on their own, you know, they're the, call them the town fathers, you know.
As they say, that's outside of our scope of
Right.
practice here.
We just make a recommendation, but, you know, to use us as, well, let's run it by them and see, let them
They
float
don't-
the
no, they
issues,
don't-
I
they
think
don't
is the
always
wrong
agree with
approach.
us, Believe me, they don't always agree with us. I think that they look at us as the voice of the town meeting, and that when
That's
we're
fair.
reviewing these things, we come up with, as you did earlier, what we think one of the town meeting members is gonna, and they may not have thought about that, because they're coming from a different point of view.
But to my point earlier, we come up based on facts. We don't have all the facts. We're,
Right.
you know, we're looking at those charter amendments. I don't know what the pluses or minuses of that yet, because they're not presenting anything to us. Where the other article we hear from,
You know, it
we're
makes sense
we're
on this.
presented the pluses, the minus, and we're hearing all the facts. We're not getting it.
No,
So, we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah, we
We'll
are.
hold off on this. yeah.
So that one's,
Table.
yeah,
Table 13.
moving along.
14, I'd recommend also,
Table that one, too?
yeah.
It's another charter.
Yeah, so do we believe that 14 is, I understand it's, just text type changes. Do we think that that's not necessarily going to be on the final warrant, or
I would say we hold off until the board decides whether or not
we might as well?
it could be on.
I don't think it's as
We could talk about it next week.
questionable as some of the others, but fine. Okay.
So Article 15 is
we go back to
just a
7?
Can we go
amend
back to 7?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I know, we're all over the.
Carrie's like,
tonight.
wait, no, we need to go forward.
We can go forward. Well, let's do 7, because there's still, we left off at DPW capital planning.
We were,
So on the admin, this was sewer and stormwater asset management, Crossroad Phase 2 design, rate and efficiency study, which finishes the study that they are looking for to talk about water and sewer rates, and then the gap grant match funding of $40,000.
So question on the rate and efficiency study, this is another add-on to the existing one?
They had a portion of it done.
Okay.
This finishes it.
Okay.
DPW highway, here's where we get into the, mostly the equipment, replacement of a Freightliner, 28,000 GVW plow truck, and then a 34,400 GVW dump truck with plow and sander replacement. Those are both replacements. Engineering pickup truck replacement, and DPW construction Freightliner, 25,000 GVW dump truck with plow replacement. With a dollar sign there, we go.
and again, this wasn't, I'm just trying to refresh my memory here. This was not brought up at the spring meeting.
Well, every year, what the DPW tries to do every year is replace older vehicles. So I'm not 100% sure what they voted on at the spring or the fall town meeting,
Well, that's-
but it's a course of action where they're trying to replace older vehicles that are, some are circa 2000 and,
Yeah.
Terry, what was one of them, 2000 and older, right, Terry?
Yeah.
There were some older vehicles.
Well, I would think for efficiency, Gary, they could bring all this up at the same time, but you're saying that they didn't have enough information to present this particular article until now? Is that what, way
They
this
didn't have
went?
they didn't have the money.
Well, yeah, well, it's a combination where they're not looking to replace all their vehicles all at once. So as vehicles become unrepairable, if you will, and the cost is too much to repair those vehicles, they continue to replace the fleet, as they do in the police department, and no different. Just that the vehicles are large dollar amounts.
All right, I just heard Terry say they didn't have enough money at the
Well,
time. Is
in
that,
general, to fund capital items, there are still some capital items that were left over from the spring that were
Gotcha.
funded now. So,
Okay.
for example, the schools were one of them.
all right.
Yeah, but as far as the DPW, he's constantly replacing vehicles to
All right.
maintain the fleet and make sure it's.
I'm just making sure there isn't any redundancy, because I'm just trying to, if you will.
Okay. Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec, the community park playground resurfacing, the Allen Street garage, that's in need of.
Is that the money that we just
repair.
gave them to fix their garage?
Yeah, no, this is complete repair to the garage, this is
Different garage?
doors, Allen Street.
Allen Street Garage, yeah.
Where's the garage on, where's that located on?
There's
Allen?
two of them on Allen Street.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah, there's one down by
Yeah.
St.,
Cemetery, St. John's.
St. John's.
there's one at,
and the other one is
At the
where?
country club.
By Allendale.
I should know that one by now.
And then COA, this is the kitchen remodel. And we're looking to replace replace the fleet here at Town Hall. We have 3 Priuses that are really not operating well anymore. They're older Priuses, like first generation. And so we're looking to replace those with hybrid models and trade those in that are outside.
I'm sorry, did you say 3 and this says 2?
No, we currently have 3 Priuses.
Oh, you have 3.
This is what we're replacing, the 3 Priuses, 2 vehicles.
Oh, sorry. And, oh, that seems low.
Well, we're trading those in, so the difference between.
Okay. The price of
Yeah.
cars right now, that seems like a
I
bargain.
should, I should say that one of the things that's changed in the past few years is that Capital Improvement Committee has asked Gary to do an inventory of all town vehicles and make sure that there's no vehicles out there that remain insured but aren't being used. And that if there are uses for older vehicles, for example, the police department has given one of their vehicles to the school because they just run, short errands, but it's not a vehicle that they could really rely on. So it was good to hear that cooperation is happening.
Yeah, to Terry's point, what we did last year, what I've done over the last few years is do an inventory of what's out there for vehicles. We want to make sure that we're not insuring vehicles that are sitting in garages, not being used.
Right.
Also, this year and last year, we started looking at open articles and making sure that the requests that come to CIPC are not duplication or not just sitting out there from prior fiscal years, that they're spending that money down and then asking for new appropriation from CIPC. So that's something we're looking at.
Good, that's good. On the police vehicles, Bill, I was gonna add that I did ask Chief Levesque if they could do with 2 officers riding in one vehicle, or reducing the number of vehicles. There has been some concern about the number of police out there. It becomes a safety issue, apparently. It's not possible for 2 people in one car to be as safe as 2 different cars.
I would think,
Interesting. For years,
And it's not how things are done in other towns, apparently. Is that
Yeah,
right, Gary?
that's interesting.
but that would lessen the coverage if you doubled up the police officers in one.
And for years, I know growing up in New Bedford, you always saw 2 police officers in one car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't discuss the strategy of the police department of what they feel is appropriate for coverage.
Yeah.
But I will say that having the extra car out there with the individual allows for more coverage within the town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's,
And I'm not sure
Right.
if that's even a policy anymore to have, I mean, even in the bigger cities now, you don't see too many vehicles with 2 police cars, and unless they're going to a scene, unless it's something specific. But on patrol, they
Yeah.
usually have their own vehicle.
right. No, understood.
So we'll look down at sewer enterprise fund, preliminary treatment.
May I interrupt for a
Oh, yes,
second? Because I'm the liaison with Council on Aging, and I was at the meeting before I left to go on vacation that Chris and Cody attended about the remodeling of the kitchen.
Yes.
yeah.
They're in the planning stage there. Now, what does this $400,000 represent? Is this part of the planning stage? What-
Construction. This is
So we're into construction
in the
already,
kitchen.
and they've gone through the bidding proposal, because I haven't spoken to,
They're going through
Amy
that, they're going
since
through
I
that now.
left. Who's that
So
now?
what this, and I believe this is also to replace the, obviously, the equipment that's in there is old,
Yeah,
you know, so that needs to be replaced.
okay.
This is to complete the kitchen.
We were told that this would finish the
Yeah,
project.
it would finish the
For
project.
the kitchen
It's
alone.
everything.
When I left, they hadn't got that far
Right.
yet.
Yeah,
It has.
they've moved along on it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Sewer enterprise fund preliminary treatment of bar scream and grit chamber rebuild. If everyone has taken the tour down there at the sewer treatment plant, it's the phase.
Go
Yeah,
take
it's,
it, it's a
it's,
good one.
you're right, it's pretty interesting if you go down, it's the phase of, that pulls all the debris that comes through the plant and separates it from the liquid, and that is in desperate need of repair. As you know, the treatment plant is quite old, so they're constantly having to repair all this equipment.
Okay.
And then the evaluation for the complete upgrade of the facility. DPW solid waste, again, this is for a recycling truck, replacement of the recycling truck that they have now.
Sorry, can we just back up a second? I just want to understand that item, the water pollution control facility
that?
upgrade evaluation. Is that a study?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, it's being done.
Oh, God, I hate these
Study.
expensive studies. I know, I understand it's necessary, but
Very expensive studies, though.
No kidding.
my studies add up.
Yeah, well,
Yes, they do.
I mean, currently, if you're looking at a replacement of a treatment plant, it's probably close to $60 million.
Oh, I have no doubt we need one, and I
Yeah.
guarantee we need to obviously figure out the
Right, the cost of action.
details of it.
Yes. So the next one is solid waste, trash. That's for a new recycling truck replacement. And then DCTV, building improvements. They're going through a facility analysis down there to look at potentially what the building can sustain for remodel, or we know what the next steps could be for that.
That's another
application.
study. Well, at least it's less expensive.
They're done by, it's being done by
I love your optimism.
by
I can't think of
engineering
the
firms.
name. I can't-
Bruce Thornton.
So the DCT
Yeah.
building is
It was somebody they were
another
familiar
Well,
with.
see, it says
What's the thought?
improvements, it doesn't actually say what it is. It seems, when you read that, that they're actually going to physically
does.
do a change to the building. Seems low, I admit, for $5,000. But
Yeah.
that would be like, what, painting a room? But
Yeah.
just, the wording is,
We can
A
maybe
little
tweak that a
vague.
little bit.
but,
And that is,
just my 2 cents.
that's the entire CIPC
Okay.
article.
Any more questions for
Got a,
Gary or
At the
Terry? or-
moment.
got a couple more questions.
Yes.
So in DPW Administrative Division, there's a line item, so the rate and efficiency study, that's for water and sewer rate, but overall DPW efficiency? Is like the rate and is there a rate study and then an efficiency study, or is it all?
A piece of it was completed, so the efficiency piece was done, and then now they're looking to do the rate study. So that was focused on, Terry can correct me if I'm wrong, that was focused on,
Staffing and process.
right, and this is more what we spoke about tonight. Are we generating enough revenue for the expense that's being, asked for at these, for water and sewer? enterprise?
So I guess my other question is, so we have the sewer and stormwater asset management for $100,000, we got the rate and efficiency study for water and sewer rates of $60,000, both of which are being charged to surplus revenue. Why wouldn't those be charged to the sewer enterprise fund and the water enterprise fund? Understanding that the water enterprise fund is low, but like, I guess my thought is, other town departments can't charge the enterprise funds or dip into enterprise funds, retain earnings to fund them. So if there's anything that we can be funding through enterprise funds, I think we ought to be funding through enterprise funds.
I can touch base with the DPW director, and if we need to allocate, and nothing would change, the amounts wouldn't change, but if we needed to reallocate that, portion of that to water or sewer, all of it to water or sewer, I can touch base with them.
Yeah, I think, just like I said, because other, like, the police wouldn't be able to dip into waste, solid waste enterprise fund to pay for a police car, right? So anything that can be allocated legally to the enterprise funds, I think ought to be, would be my opinion on that. My only other question is, and I've said this before, is I would like to know, like, what are the total requests that are being made? And I don't need every single line item, but for me to be comfortable in making a recommendation to town meeting that, yes, I agree that this is the way we ought to be prioritizing our capital funds, I would like to know what is the totality of the requests and the urgency of those requests versus the, however much we're spending right now, the $3 million.
So there's a 5-year plan.
So I have, when I generate this for the group, for CIPC, so this is kind of busy at the
That's
top,
more
but this is
detailed
what I work on to get it down to actually the article.
What you want.
And if you look at the total amount of requests for the fall annual town meeting, it was $23,315,514. Now, level one priority requests, 8 million, level two, 7 million, and then level three, 1 million. So if you took that and compared it to last year's requests, it's up a little bit for level one, it's down a little bit for level two, and then up a little bit for level three. So that's really, when we combine everything for the complete requests, this is what we see. But out of that 23 million, 16 million is at least priority one to priority three. Now, when I do the report for CIPC, I include this in there. I think it's important, I agree, that the town, at least town meeting, sees that we can't possibly fund everything. Even with the record free cash that we've had, the asks from the department are a lot greater than what we actually can fund on the short term. Now, remember, this is only short term. This is the 3 to 5 year capital. We also have the long-term capital, which are the bigger projects, the schools, the treatment plant. That's a totally separate item. That would be funded through either debt exclusion, so on and so forth. But I do analyze this, and I do include this in the report.
Yep.
When I give that to them.
So I think, again, in terms of me having to cast my vote and saying I agree or disagree with, or support or don't support Article 7 as presented to town meeting, I would want to know, I think it's important for town meeting to know that $16 million number, just to have that in their mind that, hey, we're only funding, $5 million worth of $8 million worth of level one departmentally identified priorities, I think that's a problem, right? We're not able to fund our level one priorities, right? We're kicking the can down the road, is what we're doing. Additionally, I would like to know what requests make up all of the level one requests. So our departments categorize them as level ones, right?
Yes. So, you see, when I put the schedule together, we'll go to schools, for instance. So all their level ones, we were able to, Jim and I were, Mr. Kylie and I were both able to work out at least their level one priorities for the year. But they do have level twos, level threes, level fours that haven't been, level 8. We're able to chip away on some of these, but like track reconstruction, 567, that he has a level 6. HVAC upgrades, level 7. So, not speaking for the schools and the strategy, but I think that every year they try to chip away a little bit on some of these projects. They may not get complete funding for them, but I know that Mr. Kylie does go through and try to get as much as he can to complete some of these projects, or at least get them started. But I do break them out individually per department. You'll see general government, so on and so forth. So I do include this in the, I don't get down to the level of details of what the projects are, but I do give them totals in the report that shows out of the total requests, level 1, level 2, level 3 were these amounts. So town meeting can say, we understand that the first 3 levels add up to, X amount of dollars. We can only fund what you see in the article.
I think that's an important thing to put in the spring letter.
I was just gonna,
I write a letter to town meeting and prior,
But I mean,
it's included in the packet.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, is there a presentation on specifically this at town meeting? And are they providing a cover sheet in any way? Because sometimes they do.
Yeah, I write the letter. There's no presentation.
Yeah.
I meant from the board here, this committee, no?
No, I write the letter on behalf of the committee, but we don't, there's.
I meant on the capital planning committee.
Right, on behalf of the
Okay.
capital planning committee, I
Yeah,
write
not us.
I write the letter, but
Okay.
there is not a presentation
But
at town
people
meeting.
will be ready to answer questions.
Oh,
if-
of course, yes,
Yeah.
I realize people will ask
And
questions.
as you've seen over the last couple of years, there has been a few questions on some of the capital items that we've
Oh, yeah, normally,
presented,
yeah.
as that committee's presented.
But I think the point that Nate made about what we're kicking down the road, it would be good information for the town meeting, because it would give them a context of, I think people tend to think people are asking for things maybe they don't need, that are not that important, and this would let them know that. It's the same reason the school committee asks for a wish list. They want to know exactly if they had all the money in the world, what would the teachers be asking for, so that they can see what's not getting funded.
Yeah, and the departments do vet the projects, to a level of detail where they know that there's X amount of dollars that can be spent. What are the priorities? I mean, what are critical priorities that need to be done going forward? And I think all the departments across the entire town do that as a course of when they meet with us through CIPC.
I think when we wrote, and I have to correct my memory, of course, because we've written so many letters at this point in time over the years, but didn't we allude to this, if not outright say that we weren't spending on everything we could?
Yeah, in the last,
In general.
letter that went to town meeting, it was included.
I mean, that's
On top of
literally
the
all we can
CIPC letter that
do.
we send.
Yeah.
But I do want to reiterate, like, for me to feel comfortable vote, like, I would like to know, like, what are the level one, like, I would like to see the list, if we can sort this down to just the level one priorities, and I would want some time to sort of, to digest it, right? Because, like, am I going to recommend to town meeting that I think the community park playground resurfacing is the right priority, right? When there's something else on the list that's also a level one that might seem more important. Without seeing the context of what was requested versus what was approved or is being recommended by the capital planning committee, I don't know how I, in my position in the finance committee, can say whether or not I agree with the rationale they came up with, right? I don't, without the context of what was requested, I can't recommend what's
I
being.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying,
But I'm going to say, so Terry, who sits on that board, there's a lot of hours and effort that goes, so we rely a lot on the information that comes from that committee. That, and I know obviously Gary works with them, because they do tremendous evaluation of this. You see what's up there on the board right now. And Terry can probably detail what the discussions are that go into making those decisions. And yes,
That's more
I
of a
rely heavily on
process
that.
issue. So if you wanted to be in on the decision-making, you would want to be on the capital improvement committee. And since you're on the finance committee, what has happened is that we have taken reports, like from community partnerships, we take the information from them, we assume that they have gone through, and then if we have more questions, we ask.
So can I ask?
But may I say something, John, before you do,
Okay.
if I may? I'm just kind of troubled, Nate. Who's going to be the final arbitrator of these priorities? You're making a call, well, does this, for instance, the resurfacing of the playground, does that take priority over something else, another department? So these individual departments think this is a priority. Now what you're casting out there is, well, who's going to be the final arbitrator of how
The
this?
capital improvement committee.
No, the
No, it's
final
not.
arbitrator is town meeting, and our job as the finance committee is to advise
So
town
you're gonna
meeting.
present a list that say town meeting's gonna get a list, and they're gonna go through and arbitrate, if you will, what the priority should be? Is that what you're suggesting?
What I'm suggesting is that I think it is, so our job as a finance committee, per the charter, is to advise town meeting. That's our
Correct.
sole purpose.
That's right.
Right? And I think it's important for me to be able, I don't think, we're not a rubber stamp, right? And I heard Mr. Govan say that in the last cycle, right? It's our job to check, as a body of the legislative branch of town, to check what is being presented, not just blindly or just ask some questions and say, okay, we agree with what you said.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this priority list, that what takes priority over something else.
But I
What-
agree
what
with
I'm-
you, Nate,
what I'm
that
saying-
you need to be comfortable. You need to have the information that you need to be comfortable. And what I'm saying is, others on the committee are comfortable that the capital improvement committee has reviewed it and answered any questions. And then in that process, and we did bring departments in, because we, like I said, with the police department, we had a lot of questions. And so what might be helpful is if you had the report, but you don't have the report yet. So at some point, you'll have that. And in the meantime, I think if you could look at this spreadsheet, can you send that to?
Yeah, I can send this.
Yeah, and then you have at least, because you do need to be comfortable, and you're a new person on the finance committee, that makes perfect sense to me.
Janine.
It's just that in terms of making the decision about, you could say in the rationale, for example, minority opinion, I think that this is more important than the playground, whatever it is that you came up with. But it doesn't change the decision, because the capital improvement committee is recommending it, and then coming to the finance committee.
The key is the process, like Terry alluded to. There's a lot of, back and forth on the committee on what they, getting that information back from the departments, what the departments feel, and they're taking a lot of guidance from the departments. They're the ones out there every day knowing what they need for capital items and faulty equipment, so on and so forth. But I agree, I think that the process is where, a lot of these questions, or why this and not that, can be answered. But I can send you this. This is my spreadsheet. It's large. I'll send you it as an email, and you can look and see what the thought process, I guess, was. Not being at the meetings, it's kind of hard to, but what the thought process was on why one item and not the other. I think
And that's all, like, that's all I'm saying is, and I'm not saying I'm gonna disagree and offer that we should change everything.
Understood.
But I don't know how I can recommend something if I don't know the totality of the
I get it.
picture, especially when we have $8 million worth of level 1 priorities identified by those same departments who went before another committee, and we're only funding a small percentage of that. So I think it's important to have that context, for me at least.
Well, that's fine. A question for you, Terry, because I admit I rely on listening to what you tell us and hearing the descriptions from some of the departments themselves when they've come before us, and of course Gary. Are your meetings recorded?
They are not.
Oh, darn.
I know. I know. It's a small group.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
to Nate's points, I agree, but a question for Gary, the priorities, the 1 through 5, is it, you got them?
1 through 3.
1 through
Well,
3.
there's more than 3 priorities. There's
Who assigns the priority? The individual departments
Departments.
come in, So to Nate's point, you know, when you compare the playground resurfacing priority one to the park department, and then, you know, when you look at the entire picture, is, you know, a new road resurfacing on Allen Street more important than resurfacing I'm just hypothetically throwing arguments out there. And those are things that you would hope the committee is looking at. But to his point, he doesn't have that knowledge.
Right.
And yeah, he has the opportunity, but we all can't. I gotta respect
don't-
their work and their opinions, but we all can't serve on every subcommittee and know everything, we gotta rely on it. And we shouldn't be rubber stamping. You know, just because we have a competent committee reviewing capital improvements. You know, I'm not gonna rubber stamp, you're absolutely right. You know, ask the tough questions, and if you're not happy, you know, don't vote on it, but you can't do it all. But to follow back, you had a question on the, and sort of, you brought up a good point on the administrative division, why aren't those coming out of the enterprise fund? Two of them, the face value, not knowing any of the details, the sewer and stormwater assessment management and the rate and efficiency study. Face value, to me, that
I know.
absolutely enterprise funds. Why is that coming out of the general fund? That's got everything to do with people's,
Oh, I thought it was.
I don't pay water and sewer out where I live, so why is my money being used on efficiency studies for something where there's an enterprise fund? So not knowing the details of that, excellent question. I missed that, and I think we need that answered. Why isn't it going to an enterprise fund? Why is that coming out of the general fund? I don't want to pay for it. If it has anything to do with water and sewer, I shouldn't be paying for it. I don't know where you live, and you shouldn't be paying.
What's
if
going
you
on
don't
paying
know.
that
So
for
you
my
pay
sewer?
water and sewer, you know, but is it fair to the other tax bases? That's the gist of an enterprise fund. But good question. I don't know if we'll have an answer.
Oh, yeah, I'll follow up with the DPW director for that.
Yeah.
So we'll, if.
We can hold off on this one.
Well, the change will not increase the article amount. That's not gonna change. So it may be just a different allocation between the enterprise fund and the general fund. That's it. But the dollar amount won't change on the article.
So still be whatever. In this case, it was $350,000. Yeah, it's fine. So are we ready to vote, or are we not ready to vote?
Me personally, I would not be ready to vote until I can see the picture. But, you know, if the committee wants to vote, you know, I'm not gonna stand in the way.
If others of us feel comfortable voting, Nate could abstain.
Of course.
And then
Absolutely.
when
I
you
just
go to
wanna
the
see what
meeting,
the
if somebody
majority
says,
thinks.
usually somebody will say, I'd like to hear from the person who abstained. And then you would have an opportunity to say why.
Yeah, and I guess what I would want is so we got the Springtown meeting coming up soon enough, right? I would like to be able to have that context, and I'll state my request now.
I have a
Prior
couple to
to,
make too. Sure.
we have to vote on something, I would like to see that in the next go-around coming to Springtown meeting.
So I'd ask the question, we're holding off on the charter amendments. Is there any harm in holding off on Article 7 if we're going to have another meeting to vote on charter amendments? Is there a rush to vote on Article 7 if Nate's not ready to vote? I'm just posing the question.
But the only consideration we have to think about is a lot of the charter things are gonna drop off anyway, so we won't be voting on them. That's
Select
one
board may
thing to
not
think about.
kick
The other
it
thing
in the
is,
street.
this has to be done before Thursday, so that means we have to meet before Thursday.
What I would suggest is that the committee, we set a meeting, and whether we need it or we don't, we at least have it on the
Correct,
calendar.
we still have a meeting, but I'm just saying, we'd have to meet before Thursday.
Right,
So it would have to be, well, not Monday, because
Wednesday.
we all
or
want to
Tuesday,
hear what's
Wednesday.
happening on
Right.
Monday, and I'll probably go to that meeting. So that leaves Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know what people's schedules are.
I could do Tuesday or Wednesday.
You know, I can look, but I think it's important We try to.
I won't be able to.
Because
Right,
I
and
don't,
there's
I don't believe
those,
that all the charter amendments are gonna fall off the radar screen. I can imagine one of two of
No,
those are
no,
gonna
no,
pop
not necessarily.
back on the warrant. That's just my personal opinion.
But we also have, and I'll just cycle back to what I used to always nag about, we have to write the rationales and put that
Yeah.
together. And that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I'm already straight out, so.
I know how much work that
Carrie,
is.
I'm happy
No.
to, if you want to send it
Thank
to
you.
me, I can do like.
Said it would help
wordsmithing
as well.
and
But
stuff.
either way, it's, so
Yeah.
the deadline has just become,
And I'm recommending this report, so I don't need to be there. I mean, you can just know that I went through the process and I feel comfortable with what was recommended. I understand what Nate's saying, though. He's new to the committee and,
We all do.
yeah, it's a learning curve.
no, it is a learning curve.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just, if you're not comfortable voting, you don't vote. I'm sorry,
Right.
just looking at my schedule, because we still have to schedule a meeting no matter what.
What would you rather do? Would you rather have us wait, or would you feel comfortable abstaining?
I can do
I would probably,
Tuesday.
I mean,
I'll probably just-
I would,
Wednesday is more challenging, and I don't think Gary can do Wednesday.
It also sounds like you might want to wait too, John, do you think?
Not necessarily, I just,
Okay.
I'm just asking, what's the harm
Yeah,
if we gotta meet anyway?
yep.
I mean, and what would need to happen for, I mean, I guess I would, I don't know if I would abstain, I might vote no against it, because I would like to see either a rationale as to why those are charging the surplus revenue, or see it change to the enterprise funds, and then I would also like to see the context of it. So, I mean, I don't, and I could say that in a minority opinion, saying I voted no because I didn't think we had the total picture, and I thought we should move those to the enterprise funds.
Yeah, you could say that, the committee could vote, you could say that, and then I would follow up with the directive, you know, and then ultimately, it could change, you know, we could change that, you know, if they feel it needs to be moved from enterprise to general, so.
And we usually will have an individual write a minority report if that happens, so I think that
Yeah.
would be fine. We can't meet by email. That's the
Yeah.
only thing, so it would have to be
No, right.
covered at the meeting.
I just worry about a risk that they pull the charter amendments and then we don't need to meet, and we have to schedule another meeting.
Because we haven't done
Another
the
rationales.
rationale.
Yeah.
Rationale, yeah, so.
I don't see that happening tonight. So unfortunately, we still have to meet over that.
So yeah, we have to meet anyway to do at least the rationales. So, I mean, Gary sends me that list, I can review it over the weekend and have a comfort level of where I would want to vote. Or at least be able to say I have the full picture to make an informed,
Yeah, I mean, I can send it-
Recommendation.
I'll send it
It's
to-
fine.
I personally think, what's the harm? We've got a short schedule, we're wasting time, in my opinion. We gotta meet anyway to do rationale, so let's postpone voting on Article 7. It's not gonna, I can't imagine you'll do your homework prior to the meeting, and it will be a brief discussion, and boom, we vote. You either agree or disagree, because you'll have information prior to the meeting, so.
Could we meet on Monday before the select board meeting?
Oh, I think it's a timing thing for everybody. I could, but
yeah, the select board's
other
not until
people have
6:30,
jobs.
right?
Right.
We gotta post the meeting, 48 hours. I would suggest, Tuesday or Wednesday, just so you have
I'd
a
rather
full
not,
picture of
right,
what the
because that way
board.
we don't have the deadline either
Right,
of.
right, and you'd have a full picture of what is actually gonna be on the warrant from the
Yeah.
board.
No,
you
I
know,
agree.
Instead of
long-term?
making it on the same day, it's gonna be
Oh,
kinda,
it's in the morning.
No, the DPW presentation, that's on Tuesday, right?
It's Tuesday
Oh, yeah,
night.
Tuesday night, yeah.
It's at 6 or 6:30?
It's at 6.
6, yep.
Could try to meet before then.
I was kind of hoping to go to that.
Do you think we'd be done by then? Oh, because we have to do the rationales too, so it's
You're better
a
off on
longer meeting.
Thursday.
We can't do it Thursday, though, so at that point, it won't be printed anywhere, right? Is that correct, Gary? Is it impossible if we finished it on Thursday?
finished it on Thursday, and I checked with the clerk.
So Wednesday is not a possibility?
I can't on Wednesday.
I can't Wednesday.
I can't either.
I'd say we try to shoot for Tuesday then.
Yeah, Tuesday might be the.
I just.
You'd have the votes from the board. You'd have it, you know, finalized from the board, and then the committee can take action on the ones that have been pulled, and, go off on Article 7.
Can people meet at 4 o'clock on Tuesday?
I can.
It's a
You
yes?
can.
Yes?
Yes.
I can do
You can't, Patrick?
Oh, I can.
Oh, you can, yeah.
So,
Because I have
Yeah,
the
I'll
Public
do it.
Works meeting
Right,
at
I-
Can I?
6, so, yeah, that would
correct,
be
I
fine.
understand that. I want to go to 2, but I can, and it's at the Southworth?
It's at, oh, God, it was going to be at the North Dartmouth,
I'm just thinking.
Whatever.
no, I
Why
can't
did I think it was
remember.
at Southworth?
I should be able to.
Or middle
Let me see,
school? I don't
hold
know
on.
anymore.
I-
Go
I
online.
could come in at 4.
Just trying to
I
think
have
of the
written
timing to
down
get
here.
there from here.
Yeah, it's at Southworth.
It's at Southworth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
It's
4
Let's
is
do
actually
4.
better for me.
4 o'clock on Tuesday?
People work usually.
Sounds good.
No, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
come right from work. I can get here
Nate,
before.
you rabble-rouser, you.
All right.
All right, so we can, is everybody, Nate, can you meet at 4
Yeah.
o'clock on Tuesday?
Yep, yep.
All right.
All right,
So we can
so that's it.
ideally wrap up, or
Yeah.
people can leave, obviously, but we just to be done voting on anything
So
by
Gary, you'll post it?
6 o'clock.
You'll post it.
4 o'clock on Tuesday.
4
Yeah.
o'clock on Tuesday, all right.
Are you here too, Terry, 4 o'clock on Tuesday, or no?
Yeah.
You can be here.
I can come, yep, Tuesday, before
Okay.
the other meeting.
Next door.
You'll help me with the rationales?
I will.
Thank you.
Yes, I will.
All right, we still have, all right, so do we need to vote to hold on Article 7 since we opened it up for, no, okay. Take that advice. And let's go, so.
Gary, can you email what you have?
I don't have anything. like,
Perfect, that's fine. No problem. No
I
problem.
can take pictures of my handwritten
We've
notes
done
for
it
you.
once or twice, so we don't have a problem with it.
Article 8,
Yeah, we didn't do Article 8.
Gary?
I can make a PDF of my notes, but
No, I can definitely help you, don't worry.
motion to recommend Article 8.
Second.
Thank you.
So Article 8
Oh,
is
yeah.
appropriation for the high school roof to engage with MSBA, $250,000.
Yeah.
This allows us to get into the process with MSBA. As you know, they've already visited the site, they've looked at it.
Yeah.
This originally was supposed to be for windows in a roof, but because the windows are not 30 years, at least 30 years, they will not do the windows. So this is a complement for $250. It has to be done as a separate warrant article, but it is coming from surplus revenue, otherwise known as free cash.
And this will only be expended if MSBA takes the project on? Okay.
So what
I
happens is if
think-
it's in
I think it's
October,
going to be, what I understood is
October,
they're going to do it anyway, because if they're making a decision by the 29th of October, if
Yep.
we don't get in under that decision process, then it's going to be resubmitted. And in either case, they need a feasibility study.
yeah.
That study, there's no like time constraint on it, it can still be used in the
Yeah.
next cycle.
Yeah, because it's looking at the.
Stays as an article, yeah.
Yes.
And the grant program typically only pays how much? Half?
MSBA?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
typically
half,
for a community
sometimes a
like
little
Dartmouth, it's
more.
around 50%. Sometimes it's just a smidge higher, 51, 52%, but it's usually around, usually it's not any less than 50%. So right now, looking at about a $6 million project, this would, if in fact the town was approved through MSBA, would be half that.
So what would be the plan at that point to pay for that?
Well, we could
You want-
look at different scenarios. We could conventionally borrow, do it through a debt exclusion.
But Janine, he wants to resubmit it because he really thinks that we should get them on board because of the 50%. So Jim Kiley said.
Right, but what
So
I think what Janine's asking is the other
Right,
half of
the
it.
the remainder
Oh,
of it.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
would
They're
be-
not
would be
gonna pay
through-
100%, I
Right, would
know
be
that.
through a conventional borrowing, that's what.
Would that
And maybe
be-
complementing, we just, if we build up the, long-term capital stabilization account, could be a complement with that too.
Is the timeline such on this process that that would make it to spring town meeting? Or
Not
that's
sure
too
what the-
soon?
He wants to do it now because if you wait until the spring, he can't even.
No,
get
no, I
the-
meant
No, she's
for
saying, would we have the results?
6
Would we
million
know?
plus dollars that we would have
Oh,
to figure
I
out how
don't
to
know.
fund.
Well, I guess we would have to look at that if it gets approved. I don't know what that timeline
I
would
Yeah,
be.
I'm
just
not
don't
sure
know how
how short the
quickly.
timeline is,
Yeah.
but potentially, it could go
So
out
if
to
the
the
deadline
spring
is
town meeting.
October 29th,
Yeah.
It is.
do they hear in November, or do they hear 6 months from there?
It sounded like,
I have no idea.
It sounded like that we would hear on, so the MSBA is meeting on October 29th to decide what communities they're taking into the rapid
Oh, is that
repairs
true? Okay,
program.
yeah.
So we'll know on the 29th whether or not we made the cut, and then I think we'll be able to,
There are
In
90
Springtown meeting, probably.
applications, and they'll approve about 50, right? Yeah.
But we don't know the amount
We
at
don't-
that
we don't
point
know
to
who-
put it
how
on the
they'll
spring,
decide.
right?
Right.
I'm
We-
I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
at what point we'll be
We,
asking
we
for.
potentially could have it on the spring town meeting if,
Yeah.
if MSBA comes back and says it's X amount of dollars, and then, build it into the FY '27 budget.
Sure. That's all. I was just trying to figure out when we would be asking for that money. All right. Any more questions?
Nope.
Are we ready to vote?
Yep.
Yes.
All in favor of Article 8?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. 7-0. All right, what do we got? Anything left?
We got what, we got the 15,
We're gonna wait on 14.
Yeah, I have a question mark on that.
15.
So 15 is, as you know, we hired a substance use program coordinator. This is to get them on the schedule. You've seen these in other town meetings. It's basically a cleanup.
Somebody want to make a motion about Article 15?
I'll make it.
Bill
Second.
Bowles,
second,
second Nate. Questions? I didn't have any questions, I watched the meeting. No, no, no. Ready to vote? All
Yeah.
in favor of Article 15?
Aye.
No opposed, unanimous. 7-0.
So Cody can maybe, if you want to hold off on this one. He explained on the last meeting, but if you want to hold off on this, he had just
Starting to
mentioned to
get a
me.
chill when I hear you want to hold off.
Well, if we're going to meet on Tuesday, we can,
I know. We'll be meeting at noon on Tuesday soon.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 16.
I second the motion.
Okay, so we could discuss, because I actually had a question, because
Okay.
I think it was Terry who asked about that program, because, you know, the
CDBG block grant.
CDBG,
community development block grant.
correct, that, Terry, you asked for more information about that.
Yep.
And
I'm
comes
sure
from
he'll be
Cody,
at
is
the
that
next
correct?
meeting. Yeah.
Okay, I'll hold that thought then.
All right,
Withdraw
table
my
that.
motion.
Well,
So we're gonna
no,
table.
no, no, we can,
We're gonna table it now.
do you need
more
that, do we
information.
want that information before we vote on this?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you email Cody on it? Did you email Cody?
I don't remember doing that, but maybe I did.
No, it was, I read it, well, I heard it, because I
Yeah,
watched the meeting, and I
yeah.
read it in the minutes.
I thought he was gonna bring it to the next meeting, and obviously he had to leave, so I will email
Yeah,
him
if you-
after this.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a hold, yay, Tuesday. Article 17.
So Article 17 increases the elderly exemption that's available through the Board of Assessors to residents from $500 to $1,000. And this is also based on eligibility requirements for their income. So it would increase it.
I make a motion to recommend.
I second the motion.
I have a question, I think, I forget who asked some questions about it. It was similar to what I'm going to ask. We must know how many or how much, how has
The
this been
impact.
used in the past?
How it was, excuse, what was
We
that
must
again?
have numbers on people that have applied for this exemption in the past. I'm curious.
It's a new thing, right?
I can, maybe
You know.
I think it's a new thing.
No, I mean, there's always been an exemption.
Right, but not specifically for elderly with income.
Oh, I think so.
Has there? Okay.
Yes.
We're
Oh,
increasing
no,
it
it's
from-
there. Right, it's an income requirement,
Used to be
then it was
500,
only
now we're-
$500, but,
Being asked to increase it to 1,000.
yeah.
Right.
No, it's an existing,
It's there.
I see, okay.
so I was
That's-
curious,
That's general law.
you know, is it 500 senior citizens are asking for this, or 12? I mean, it just,
Let me see, I thought she had said that.
I understand that it doesn't make a difference on the money. I heard that explanation.
Okay, here, I've got it right here.
Oh, can you make it a? Okay.
So elderly exemption is 90,
Okay. And, I'm sorry, this is from the last fiscal year? I'm just curious. What year is this from?
this is current. This is the data that was provided to me for the current fiscal year.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
fluctuates, as you know, if people pass away or they're not
Yeah,
eligible
oh, I
anymore.
understand the numbers.
Yeah, it's fluctuating.
Yeah. would-
So this is the rough estimate, 158 veterans, and the different kinds of exemptions, and
So we
27
go
blind.
from 45
Veteran
to
ones are the
90.
ones we approved at the Springtown meeting, and, right?
There were changes made to the, yeah,
Right, I
And
think it
then
existed
we're
to a
being
certain
asked on
extent.
that first line, elderly
to
exemption.
go from 500 to 1,000.
Which would be a $45,000 impact, but covered by the overlay.
Right, correct. There's Nate that asked last week, I believe.
Okay. I was curious how many people were taking advantage of it, and how are people told about this?
So we work closely with the Council on Aging and try to get that message out.
And the Veterans Administration.
And the Veterans Administrator, so that any potential candidates that we see that may not have elderly exemption may qualify. We work, the Board of Assessors works closely with the Council on Aging to identify those individuals.
Good. Any other questions on this? Are we ready to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor of Article 17?
Aye.
Unanimous, 7-0.
Can we just make one quick pass-through?
Yes.
Madam Chair, just, so we've approved, the committee's approved Article 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yep.
4, 5,
6.
6. 7 we're holding.
7's on hold, right.
Seven on hold.
Let's see, 8 was approved,
Yep.
9 is on hold,
No,
Yep.
10,
on hold.
9 all the way to 15, right?
12,
Yeah.
13,
13,
14.
14,
And then 15 is where we voted.
15 we voted,
15,
15
and
16 we didn't.
16.
17 we voted.
Yeah.
15 was voted 7-0.
Yep, 16 is a hold, 17 is a
16
hold.
was hold,
Okay.
and 17 was
And the
voted.
majority of those, as we mentioned, may not appear on the final warrant, so.
Yeah, there was no-
Exciting select board meeting on Monday night.
Yeah. So it should be easy to create the rationale, because there was really no opposing views, except for the.
True, it's just more tedious, cut, paste.
Cut and paste.
Little descriptions.
Thank you, Terry, I really
Oh, no,
need the
I'll
help.
definitely help you. I've liked writing since St. Mary's, so it's fine with me.
Thank you.
I find that the select board likes to read our explanation of the articles. I find that interesting.
I do, I know what people are saying about us doing work for the select board, but when you think about what the select board does have to do and what they've been trying to do this term, I don't think it's unreasonable with the time that we spend. I mean, why would we want them to spend the same amount of time? I think they will make their own decision anyway. They've disagreed with us plenty of times, but we do spend a lot of time on these questions, and we come up with things. I mean, tonight, some things came up that I hadn't thought of, so.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I'd love to ask
I
questions.
agree too.
All right. Liaison reports.
So I will just say Tuesday night is the last of the first round of workshops on the recommendations from the long-term planning committee. We held the community services, the schools, and this will be on the Department of Public Works. So I'm hoping that more people are watching it when it's taped, because not a lot of people have come out, not the number that I would like to see. And the information is excellent. The information that's been presented so far is going to be very helpful to people. So we plan to follow it up with some more information about that's relevant when we get to the point. We haven't talked about impact on taxes. It's way too early to do that. We'd be making up numbers if we said that. We just have identified the projects that everybody has agreed by looking at the surveys that people completed and through discussion of the committee. And it's pretty much what you would expect. It's DPW and schools. Those are the two big ones. Obviously, the other ones are important as well. There's certainly groups supporting some of those things, but as far as the priorities, they're not at the top.
When did you say that meeting was?
Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, Southworth Library.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a liaison report?
I do. I should have two. There wasn't really much happening at the school department, so they introduced their new staff, welcomed their new teachers. There really wasn't much talk on budget. Anybody else see the meeting? Anybody have anything to add? I didn't really notice that there was anything.
I think the biggest thing is the roof.
The roof, yeah, the roof, and that's been on our topic for a really long time. I feel like, let's just get the ball going on that one. Yeah, so Parks had their meeting recently, and let me see if I can try to organize my notes so that I can clearly deliver all the information. We talked about having the, a lot of stuff we already talked about, like the Allen Street Garage was talked about. The automatic gate on Round Hill, it would just, I believe it's just Round Hill, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, okay. And then they talked about the new truck, they were gonna repurpose, and I'm not a truck person, but they're repurposing something that goes on the back of the truck, and they're gonna take it off the old one and put it on the new one. If they're listening to this, if they're listening to this, they're gonna be like, she hacked that so bad. Anyway. So they are trying to repurpose, they're not trying to spend more than what they need
And they do bring
to.
pictures, photos of what they're
Yes.
asking for to show why it's
Yeah.
on its last legs, so they're not making it up.
Yeah, I did a bad job on that, sorry, Parks. The bucket brought in 157,600, so very nice. They brought in 5,000 less than last year, but that's due to some cancellations and bad weather, which checks out. Their trailer idea was not a huge success, but they're still working on it.
What's
They-
the trailer idea?
Oh, the trailer, to have food at the beach.
Oh, the food truck.
The food truck at
Oh, okay.
the, yeah, oh,
Yep.
sorry, yeah.
That's okay.
I always
Just
think
trying to
everybody can
understand what it
understand
was.
my head, what's in my head. Yeah, so the food truck idea at the beach is a good idea, but they need electricity, so that's been a challenge. Instead, I think they're using a generator, and that's not really working out as well as they hoped. So they've got some ideas, they're gonna try to get some electricity down there and see if that would make some improvements. Let's see.
Because they're not able to keep the food
The freezers.
fresh or cooked or,
Was an issue with the
I mean,
freezers.
generator, okay, just wasn't
I think it was
powerful
an,
enough.
yeah, I think it was an issue with the freezers. Yeah,
Because I know the beach crowd was or seems to be very upset every time there's no food available at the beach.
uh-oh.
So you'd think they'd be excited about that.
Let's see, what else? So I think the rest of it is just political stuff that I don't think that is really worth sharing at the Finance Committee. Yeah, I mean, 4th
Political
of July.
stuff, now I'm intrigued.
No, it's nothing. Yeah, I know, that's a terrible report.
Motion to adjourn.
Right? Yeah, that's probably what we should do. Oh, you're funny. I just got that. Yeah, so they talked about Harvey, and, you know, like, they're doing a restructuring of who reports to who. And so they're just kind of working that out. That was the political stuff that I was really talking about. So they're just working all that out of, you know, who reports to who and who uses what. And so aside from that, the money portion of it is, you know, pretty stable, and that's about it. Yeah.
Anybody else? No. We did the minutes. I just wanted to say, so I signed up for the October 18th Finance Committee MMA event today. And they also, and that's still available for people to register for October 18th. I don't know if anybody else is planning on going. It's $65 because we're MMA members.
And the town will pay for it.
Yes, and the town will pay for it. Unfortunately, they don't let you pay online, Gary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they let you pay if you're gonna use a
Give me
credit
a
card.
check, they
right?
take a check.
No,
I
there was no,
sent-
there was no
I
credit
sent-
card
Oh.
option.
I sent my registration to Gary, and he's gonna do a
Oh,
PO.
wow.
Yeah, we'd have to cut a check to them, so.
That's fine. So what should I do then? Should I already registered?
Yeah, you have the invoice printed? You have it?
I can print it.
Yeah,
I'll send-
just
I'll
to
send
me.
it to you.
Or email it to me.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that meeting.
yeah, that's fine. I just made an assumption I could go online and pay, like, well, every other thing in the world.
You can.
You can go online and pay with your credit card. I, write 2 checks a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other event, I'm sorry, I forget the name of it, the annual 360, Gary, you know what this is, the multi-day event in
January.
Boston.
In January, yeah.
Yes, in January.
Connect 360.
Right, there you go. That's opened up for registration. I don't know if people are interested or not. That's like a 3-day thing.
Oh, my God, Stan.
Is that open yet? I'm not sure if that's already.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
it is.
saw, I
Okay.
got, seems like you can go online and register now if you want to.
Yep.
If people are interested, it exists. I don't know. Nate, did you sign up to get all those wonderful emails from the MMA?
I have not yet, but I do have the information to sign up for it. Just haven't done it.
We've had some
I
good
will.
workshops.
They have great workshops. You get a lot of emails from them. I mean, there's plenty of webinars and such that you'll go,
Yeah,
it's not
right,
necessarily
right.
relevant,
I
although you
went
may
to
want
a
to learn, I
deadly one
suppose.
last
but-
week. I thought it would be good. It was on assessing and filling out the paperwork at the end of the year, and it was definitely for professionals and
What paperwork?
assessors.
Oh, assessor.
Yeah, I thought I might learn something about the assessing department, but I didn't learn anything about the assessing.
But you stayed on?
Yeah. I stayed on. You sign up for it, you sign up for it, but it was
Sure.
deadly. So,
Too much, yeah.
I had 2 things that I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
The first is I'd like to propose moving this meeting to the room at the end of the hall where we've been when we've been displaced. And really the simple reason, it would be easier for DCTV. The tables are set up, they're set up. They said that the angle for the camera is better in there anyway.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they do a lot. And if they don't have to set this up and take
Yeah.
this down every time we meet, that would be good.
If it's available, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't, doesn't matter to me what
How do
room
you
I'm in.
feel? You had some feelings about it.
Well, my feeling, I have used that room many times over the years for meetings. Just a couple, it's more logistic type things, that the screen in that room has ripples in it and everything's always distorted.
Oh,
Just,
well, maybe we can
just
fix
want
that.
to bring that
Yeah,
up, that's one
yeah.
thing.
Okay.
And as a comfort factor, so we're not at full volume here yet.
Right,
We'll have at least 11 people
yeah,
in that room. So to me, it was part comfort and part logistics.
yeah,
As I said, having
Those are good
used that room.
points.
The lighting was, and during the light of day is not great. And then the screen that rippled and distorted everything.
yeah. Can we get the screen fixed, Gary, do you think?
That was just,
Oh,
Replace the
Get a
screen in
better
that
screen
room
in
at the
there?
end
it was, I haven't used the room in a while.
It's one of the projectors that,
that comes
I
out?
haven't been to that.
Okay. We should look at it, because we do need a good screen.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's, so, those are really my issues, was how many people in the room at once, because to me, this is nice
yeah, Right.
and spacious for all of us. Those are my thoughts, that's all.
Do we want to vote on it? What do you think?
Why can't we hold that thought?
Say it again?
Can we hold that thought?
Hold it and vote it the next time, you mean?
Whatever.
Yeah, we're
I don't
not
think you
meeting
really
again
need a vote.
until.
I think it's more just, we let DCTV know that the room needs to be changed, the group wants to meet down there. I don't think you really need a vote.
I mean, do we want to try out, just try it for a meeting and see if it suits us? and-
Yeah, I'm game
bad
for it.
idea.
But I want to make sure the
sure.
screen is good
Easier for
first.
DCTV.
Yeah, we use this a lot, so.
Yes,
Maybe
no,
post
we
it.
need a screen that's good.
Gary, maybe post it for next Tuesday at 4 in there. Then
Yeah.
we can see it,
We do
right?
over there.
And then the next thing is for Gary, and I feel like this session was really rushed, and I would like the spring, which is chock full, to start earlier, so that we're not at the end trying to get it all done in a mega session.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask if Gary, I'm trying to get rid of paper, so if it's possible that by that time you could do that on, you had talked about having an online login for us, and you would put all the documents in there.
Yeah, I just have to, well, I think we go back to the email situation where
Google.
everybody had to have a town email. So
Yeah.
if I can, sending it to the email now, we just set up we can set like a Google Docs that I spoke with. I'll talk to the IT,
Yeah.
or IT person.
I just think, because this is gonna go right in the recycling, because I have it on my computer. So, you know, I don't know how other people feel about it, and there was a time that some people really wanted the paper, but we might be past that.
Well, right, I agree with you. I mean, if we think back a couple of years with
Yeah.
all the, oh my God, we'd get,
I know, I know.
Yeah, with the huge
we'd get a
stack.
book put in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
us. That was just crazy, crazy paper.
Yeah, we can, look at that. I'll talk to, Mike Clover, IT director.
Okay,
We can
thanks.
set up a Google Docs and we'll put them in there as folders for the meetings and just put everything in.
Well, the town must use Google Docs now, right? Do they use it now?
I'm not sure.
Well, the schools do, I know that, but
That's separate, I'm sure.
Yeah,
then.
we
Yeah.
don't,
The
well,
town doesn't?
Finance doesn't, so I don't know, I can't speak for any other departments.
Right, because some,
Thank
and I'm
you.
thinking just from a company standpoint, some companies won't let you touch it. It's a
I know.
security issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I
that's
know.
what I have to,
So that's
Kinda
why I
work out
asked if
with
the
Mike.
town, or, not that we have high secure information.
yeah, and we're not putting a lot of information here that's,
Right,
Not-
as I said, we don't
Should be
have
public
secrets.
knowledge,
We don't have
yeah.
secrets. Right,
if it's public knowledge, it shouldn't be an issue.
yeah, right.
okay, yeah.
And on that note, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very
Second.
much. Seconded by Carrie. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.